I've never been called sweet or a cinnamon roll, so I'm really holding both of those. I'm actually going to copy that part of the audio and just like save it as my ringtone. All right. Well,
welcome back to Name Three Players.
You did that so good.
I feel like I stumbled a little bit.
Oh.
Hello, Nox.
Hi, Nox. Okay, so welcome back to Name Three Players.
Hi.
I'm your host, Victoria, and
I am not your host, Raegan, but I'm Chloe.
But you are producer Chlo, which now this is week 2 with producer Chlo in the hot seat. Raegan is out sick. I was out last week, so Chlo is just getting her full send.
Truly.
So we've been joking, it's like an inside joke that it's the year of Chlo. And I don't know, but it feels like the year of Chlo.
Feels like my
year. Move that chair because it's creaky, you little fuck. Get out. Sorry, that was
Don't
the
worry,
cat.
we love him. But
that was Lindsay's cat. Okay, well, Chloe, welcome back to Name Three Players.
Thank you.
As mentioned, I am your host, Victoria. Raegan is out sick. Chloe is in the hot seat. And this is Sports for the Girls. So if you're new here, we are quite literally just the sports news, top 3 sports. What?
You almost said Norris.
Yeah, I did. I do miss him. If you are new here, it's fine. We love new. And whether you're a dedicated sports girly,
I'm going to shut the door.
Okay, perfect.
Bye.
So as mentioned, Raegan is out sick. Chloe is in. I am here. I am back. And as always, it is still sports for the girls.
We'll always be
sports for the girls. No matter who is hosting, no matter who is out sick, it is always sports for the girls. And this week is no exception. So if you're new here, hello.
Hi.
Love you. We're happy you're here. And it doesn't matter if you're a dedicated sports girly like we are, or you are fresh on the scene. Mm-hmm. And you're like, Taylor Swift goes to NFL games, so do I. Welcome.
Or you're trying to glow up with us and you're fans of our special guests that we've had.
You know, I'm so glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
So we have a series. It's been going on now for the past 3 weeks. To kind of kick off the year, we put the sports to the back for just a second during the podcast episode, and we are glowing up. So it is our Glow Up 101, where we have some badass gals talking about some different areas that we wanted to glow up in. Basically, we made our ins and outs list. If you're chronically online like we are, you know what we're talking about. If not, we stay online. But if you don't know what we're talking about, basically it's just like a fresh way of saying these are our New Year's resolutions and these are the things that we're not doing, ins and outs. Yeah. Go back, go on our Instagram. You can see our ins and outs list. We were so vulnerable. Vulnerable is an in for 2024, and we posted ours, and we encourage you to do the same because it holds accountability.
It's never too late.
It's never too late.
Oh
my God. No.
Oh.
It's never too late.
It's never too late. I also feel like for the ins and outs, it's a lot more attainable. Sometimes with New Year's resolutions, they are so large and it's too
intimidating. Yeah.
Mine was stop hitting the snooze button. I still do that, but it's something that I know that I can overcome.
Right.
And do. It's not.
And it's like, it's an out. Like the snooze button is an out. You're going to fuck up. You're going to do it a few times.
Absolutely.
And New Year's resolution has so much like definite pressure that if you don't do it, you're like, okay, well, guess I'll try in 2025. Like,
or
ew.
so much that you give up. So
that's what I'm saying.
Easily.
Yeah, like, okay, cool, I did it. Guess I'll try in 2025. So, like, full disclosure, we're honest girlies, and we fuck up. And we did try to do Dry January, and it didn't work out. One of our friends put in our group chat today, she was like, congrats, girlies, last day of Dry January. Mind you, we have been drunk together every weekend for the past 3 weekends.
3 days this past weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We were drinking. We said sayonara so hard.
Signed off so hard. If there's one thing we're going to do, it's commit to the bit, even if it's falling off dry January.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We're not going to half-ass falling off dry January.
Like, we're gonna do it. If we're going to fall off, we're going to freaking tumble.
We will go on a 3-day bender. At this point, it's been a 2-weekend bender.
We have, and it was great. Go Chiefs. But back to the glow up. I truly feel like we chose the best girls to come on the pod and talk. Like, later in the episode, you're going to be hearing from Chlo Elise. She is the founder and CEO of Deeper Than Money and a New York Times bestselling author, which, is there anything?
Slay.
I was just going to say that, Chloe. Is there anything more slay than that? Like, no, there's not.
There's not.
She's incredible, and she is going to do finance for the girls. We're talking about money.
Money, honey.
So, money, honey. So, yeah, I just feel like we have kicked off this year the best way possible, falling off dry January and all. We've had so much fun, and we're glowing up regardless as we're drinking wine.
And we will continue to glow up.
100%. Full disclosure, once again, honesty, and for 2024, we are 3/4 a bottle of wine in.
We are. We also we decided we were going to go on a walk on Monday. The weather has been so nice. It's been snowing. It's been gross in Kansas City for ever.
Yeah.
So we
Feels like
said,
an eternity.
It's time for a walk. We love a walk.
It was our first hot girl walk of the year.
And it was great because we ended it at Blue Sushi, where we also had wine. So a glass or two never hurt anybody.
It's good for your heart.
Exactly.
So, if anything, glow up.
Nourishment for the girls. Red wine.
Cab sap for the girls. Okay, basically, there's our tangent. This is Name 3 Players, and we're happy you're here. Chloe, catch us up. Wins and losses of the week. Was the first hot girl walk of the year your win?
Honestly, the weather, and that just kind of goes with it.
Okay.
I moved up north, far away from my friends. Mm-hmm. No disrespect to the people I live with who are my friends.
Yeah, we love them. Somewhat of a suburb, I would say.
100%. It's right down the street from where I went to middle school. So definitely the burbs. I don't think the burbs are life for me. It was a money-saving decision and a personal decision. I can't live by myself. So I latched on to the first opportunity I came across.
Have you ever lived by yourself?
No.
Okay. So when you say you can't, you just don't want to. Like, you're
I'm
just
scared.
Like, okay.
I don't like being alone. So I like to take advantage of these moments where I can come back downtown, live my city girl life. So that was my win of the week because I got to feel like I was, and that was my loss.
And Victoria not putting her computer on silent was the loss.
I didn't tell you before, though, so that's my bad as producer. I didn't say cell phones on silent.
Yeah, because you have to produce and give the content today. That's
so
2 jobs.
Crazy.
That is so crazy.
Wow. Anyway, so yeah, that was my win. Finally getting our hot girl walk in. We started with win, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I was like, was I going down a lost route? And getting to enjoy the sunshine. Today, I went to my sister's house because she just had a wine delivery from Italy, and I had to be there to sign for it.
Oh my God, that's
stunning. So I sat outside with our dog, Lois, and just soaked up the sun. And it really does make all the difference. Being outside,
100%.
getting sunlight. I don't want to kill myself anymore.
Right. We'll cut that.
I never want to do that. But, yeah.
You're not depressed.
No.
It's like an instant, yeah.
Yeah.
Huberman says, my obsession with Andrew Huberman, Daddy Huberman. He says to look at, like, you don't look at the sun, but you like close your eyes and you just like look up. And it helps, man.
It really
does. It's an instant cure.
As lame as it kind of sounds, it does hit so hard. Sunlight.
Oh, yeah.
Just go outside, you'll be happy. No, you will.
No, you will. You're literally a plant. I am going, this is just, if there is anything more like me coded, I am going to LA this week. As Chloe mentioned, it has been disgusting here for like genuinely a month. Like we live in Kansas City. It has been so gross.
I don't think we had consistently got that much snow back to back. It snowed for probably a week straight.
100% for like, I mean, like, and it wasn't just snow. It was like, it was dark. It was gloomy. It was rainy. It was misty. It was icy. It just genuinely like, I felt like we lived in a cloud, and not in a cute way.
That's
like
so true.
Not like a cute comfy cloud, like a cute sad cloud.
There was one point I was driving through downtown. I couldn't see the buildings because it was so foggy.
Yeah, like a horror movie way, not a cute way. But anyway, I'm going to LA this weekend, and guess what?
Is it gonna rain?
It's gonna rain, and guess where it's gonna be nice? Here. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
That's a sign that you should not go. Just kidding. You need to go.
Yeah.
You and Kenzie need to get out of town.
Yeah, I'm gonna go, but I checked the weather today, and because we're gonna go on a little Malibu hike while we're there on Saturday. And I checked the weather, which I think it'll be fine. LA is like that, like, you know. But
I was gonna say, by the water, it's usually when we go to Florida.
It's gonna rain and go away and whatever. But I'm just like, come on, LA, where it never rains. Whatever. There's literally a Lainey song called "It Even Rains in LA."
Anthem.
When Victoria George goes to LA, it rains. But I would say my win. Honestly, I said, is your win the first hot girl walk? I would say that is tied because, as Chloe mentioned, we love a walk, and just especially when all the girls get to like go on a walk, fun.
Especially when it ends in sushi and wine.
Yes,
because we earned it. It was our treat.
Preach. It was our Monday little treat. But the Chiefs winning, obviously, the Chiefs going to the Super Bowl was incredible, and getting to watch it. We all went to brunch. All the girls went to brunch on Sunday morning, and then we went and to like our new favorite bar and watched the game. And yeah, it's just, there's nothing, not to like rub it in, because I know everyone hates the Chiefs now.
We're the villains.
We're the villains in the story, and that's okay. I honestly do not mind, like, at all.
Fuels your fire.
Yeah, I'm like, sure, hate the winners. That's okay. But yeah, anytime, football is such a community sport in general, and like the way it creates like an atmosphere, there's nothing like it. There is something about watching your team win and go to the Super Bowl in a sports bar with your best friends. Like heaven. Like when the gates of heaven open, that's the scene for me. Like it does not get better. It maybe if like my dad was there, you know, like or like if my family somehow were Chiefs fans and not Bengals fans, like that would be sick. But yeah, that is such a win. It's the win of all wins, other than like winning the Super Bowl, which hopefully we will. But yeah, I would say that's it for sure. The hangover the next day, we still went to bed at a reasonable hour, but the loss would have absolutely been the hangover the next day. I did have I directed a photo shoot all day the next day, and my hangover really didn't subside until around 1 p.m.
I did not know that. Mm-hmm. That sucks. I didn't have one.
Yeah. What is with that? You like don't have hangovers?
It's
the year of Chloe just like doesn't have hangovers now?
No, remember the night that we broke dry January, I had a glass of wine. Then we had the drink at Mean Mule, shouts out. Then we had one Aperol Spritz at our favorite cafe, a little French cafe, Westport Cafe. Another shout out. I was hungover for 2 days. 3 drinks. I feel that was God saying, you should have stayed on the fucking horse.
You should have said no. Yeah. Dang, Taylor reference. But yeah, I think once you have your sabbatical from drinking, it is harder, and I hit it pretty hard on Sunday, and I think, yeah, I paid for it the next day. So that was my loss. I thought
our Brussels sprouts at the bar would have helped us.
Oh, for you. That is the silliest drunk meal I have ever ate. I was like telling someone that the next day. I'm like, you know who has fire Brussels sprouts? High Dive, which is a dive bar in a bar district in Kansas City. And they're like, you were drank all day and watched the Chiefs game and ordered Brussels sprouts? And I was like, listen, I don't really know.
They hit so hard.
I didn't order them. Drunk Victoria ordered them.
I thought you were going to say me for a second. And I was like, no, I literally heard you say, I'll have the Brussels sprouts.
And Kenzie goes, healthy girl.
She's like, I'm over here with my chicken sticks.
Yeah, my chicken sticks. Anyway, they were fire though, weren't they?
They really were.
All right.
That's a perk of being an adult is now I like Brussels sprouts. Like as a child.
It's such an acquired taste. Yeah.
So good when they're made right. They're like crispy and they had like a balsamic.
Yes, they had honey. It was good. I do feel like acquired taste levels, it's like coffee and then like a couple years later you're like, okay, Brussels sprouts.
And then you're like excited to get cleaning supplies for Christmas or like.
Yeah, it's just like that's the progression of age. No, that's so true, bestie. Okay, so that was our wins and losses.
I didn't get my loss yet.
Oh, go for it. What's your loss?
My loss is not, in fact, you not turning off your sound. So that's fine.
Thank you.
It is. When I signed up for this job, it was not to be on the mic. Although it's not as scary as I thought it was going to be. But.
Oh my God, that's really sweet. Do you kind of like it?
Yeah. But then I'm being way too cognizant right now. When Raegan sent us the edit last week, she sent it around midnight on Thursday. So I immediately had to listen to it because I was paranoid if I sounded like a dumbass.
That's
Which
like the point, though.
I know, but
yeah,
regardless, it was going out anyway, but I just wanted to know what I was in for. And then I realized the amount of times I said, my mom is going to love that I'm saying this. Yeah, when you'd say, or when Raegan would say something, I'd just be, yeah. Saying, saying but. So I had to stay up until almost 3 a.m. to edit out all my ums, which was about, I think it was 3 minutes worth of cuts.
I love that you're admitting this to the girls. I also think it gets better.
Honesty.
Like I'm now 36 episodes in. So like, you just stop giving a fuck. Like, I sound stupid sometimes and you just don't care.
Right.
Because that's like the whole fucking point is like, literally what Chloe says later in the episode. Not producer Chlo. Not NTP Chlo. DTM Chlo. She says like, it's pulling up a seat at the table regardless of like if you don't know everything. And I think why this podcast is what it is and like we've created this little community that we have is like it does give permission to girls that don't feel like they do know everything. Like they're part of the conversation even if, thank you so much.
You're just pouring the rest of our wine over here. Sorry.
Yeah. That was good. This bottle.
Oh, I think it meant my pouring. I was like, thanks.
You're like,
I've
done it before. No, the wine was good.
Cute label as well.
Yeah, that's why I chose it, of course. Whole Foods Tilia. It was like 22.
Nice.
Sponsored by. But yeah, I think that's like the whole point. And as we get, I mean, you know, when you start anything, like even when I was listening to you guys last week, which it genuinely was one of my favorite episodes of all time. And when I'm listening to it, I'm just so proud of it. Like even I wasn't even on it. And I'm like, we've created this tone and this voice. And like what Chloe was saying, which you will once again hear later in the episode, we really have. Like we've created this like tone and voice that it's like, we don't care if it's not polished. It doesn't make sense all the time. It is super raw. Minus the editing thumbs.
Yeah. Which the cool thing is when you're editing it, you can tell exactly where the is because it's the same frequency and there's usually a pause in between it. So it's like,
wow, women
right
in
out.
Fucking STEM right
Really?
There. Yeah. Wow. I'm increasingly proud of the thing that we've made. I'm increasingly proud of the people that are involved in it. And I'm increasingly proud that we've kept going and it's episode 37 and it doesn't get any less fun and it doesn't get any less interesting. And if anything, it gets a little more raw and unpolished every episode, but it's honestly better and better. Like I love it. I'm so happy. So
that's really her win for this week.
That is.
Win for 2023.
Honestly, that's just the win. Period. It's the win.
Continuous win.
If nameplate players had a voice, that would be her win.
It would.
Yeah.
That'd be cute.
Yeah. Okay, so that was our wins and losses. And now we're going into our recap. So our recap segment is where we recap any notable updates or changes from the stories from last week's episode. We hit the top 3 sports news stories of the week. We let you know what you need to know. And then we update you on those. So last week, as mentioned, I wasn't here, but we've kind of just been going and rolling with this coach update because
it keeps rolling. It keeps coming in.
Yeah. So football, whether that be the NFL or, college football, there is this constant firing and hiring of coaches. It happens every year. This year has been a fiery one. But basically, the bigger updates, the Seahawks have hired Ravens defensive coordinator Mike McDonald as their hedge coach?
Hedge fund.
As their hedge fund. Seahawks hire Ravens defensive coordinator Mike McDonald as their head coach. He is the youngest in the NFL right now at 36 years old. And yeah, I mean, he has like a big reputation. Everyone. The news.
Us.
We are
the news.
If you've caught on, we've got this new bit that's like not funny to anyone else but us, but we just keep saying the news. Talking about whether it's us, if it's actually the news. TikTok. If we're like,
Twitter.
I heard it on the news.
It's the new, I read an article.
It is. We're like, we are the news. And honestly, girls, we are.
We have a story later coming up. So hot off the press. It was 4 minutes old when we started reporting on it.
So we're pretty much the fucking news.
Hire us. I don't know. Pay us.
They'd be like, you say fuck every other word. We're not hiring you. But anyway, this guy, Mike McDonald, not to be confused with Mike McDaniel.
Looks nothing like him.
Nothing like him. Both NFL coaches.
Sounds like they're both going to, killing it.
Yeah. This guy has a pretty good reputation. They're saying that he's kind of like one of the brightest defensive minds, which the Seahawks can benefit from. So excited to see what happens there. And then in college coaching news, as we all know, Jim Harbaugh moved on from Michigan. He's now in the NFL, and he was replaced by Sharon Moore. Sharon? That's definitely Sharon, huh?
It looks like Sharon.
Okay. So it was replaced by Sharon Moore as the new football coach at Michigan. Sharon served as Michigan's acting head coach for 4 games during the 2023 season when Harbaugh was,
not coaching at the time.
And if you don't know, look it up. Or go back, because we talked about it.
Yeah.
And he has been on the offensive coaching staff for like 6 seasons. So it seems like he definitely earned this spot, and I'm excited to see what happens. Michigan is obviously a
powerhouse.
Yeah. And as much as my little Ohio State heart hates to admit it, it is. And an incredible, prestigious position. What is wrong? It's a bottle of wine.
Yeah, I was going to say we had a bottle of wine.
It's an incredibly prestigious position to take over Jim Harbaugh's role. Big shoes to fill. So, yeah. With Alabama and Michigan having new head coaches, like, it is kind of crazy.
An interesting season
to
see. I'm interested to see how this next season will go.
I'm excited and interested to see how this next season will go.
I do like how they promoted from within, though.
I love that. I love when that happens. And obviously, like, I think that's just so good. If you do have a candidate in your organization, it's so good because, like, the morale and trust is already there. The guys know you. Hopefully, they love you, and there's this sense of trust, and especially in a team setting that goes so far. So I think big things for Michigan. Hopefully not, but we'll see. Probably.
Much to your dismay.
Yeah. All right, and then
do you want me to read this one?
Yeah, give it to us, Chlo.
I forgot that this was the hard name to pronounce. We'll give it a go.
I can help you.
Okay, so we are on to our Coco Gauff update. Our girly. She unfortunately was defeated in the semifinals in the Australian Open last week by defending champ.
Read my pronunciation.
Arina Sabalenka.
Yeah! Chloe! Get this bitch on mic. She has one.
I do.
Yeah.
And this happened I already said that. It happened 6 days ago. Arena is 25. She is...
She's Belarusian.
Belarusian. And she also has a very badass tennis career. She's former #1 in the world in both singles and doubles for the Women's Tennis Association.
Yeah, I mean, once again, it's a
one badass to another.
Right. Did we want to see our girl Coco take it? 100%. But if there had to be another person to do so, Arena is a good candidate. Also, she's only 25. Like, it's badass across the board.
Right.
And Coco has so many years, like, ahead of her that, like, we have not heard the last of Coco Gauff by any means. But Arena, like, as mentioned, she has quite the career behind her. I'm sure much to go ahead of her. So, that's the tennis update.
And that's the tennis update.
That's that on tennis. Just kidding. Tennis is like ever evolving. So that's that on the Australian Open.
I think it's just happening at all times.
That's that on the Australian Open. To give you a little NFC AFC Championship recap, the Chiefs won and the 49ers won.
And it's just a rematch of the 2020
Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
Yeah. So, fun fact, whether you're rooting for the 49ers or the Chiefs, so funny that Raegan and I have
been secret 49ers fans.
Yeah, we say that, we joke that we're closet 49ers fans because if we weren't Chiefs fans, we would be 49ers fans. And it's not because they're just really good, which they obviously are, an extremely talented team. It's just the character of the team. They're like, which I say this because we are the most hated team in the NFL probably.
We are 100%
as of now.
Villains.
I don't hate people because they're good. I hate, like, teams because they're annoying or their fan bases are annoying or there's specific players that are annoying. That's why I don't hate them. I just don't enjoy them.
We would rather see somebody else win.
Right. I thoroughly enjoy the 49ers. Like, as we've mentioned, like, I don't even, like, dislike Brock Purdy at all. Like, he gets so much shit, and I have stated on this podcast multiple times, I love Brock Purdy. Christian McCaffrey, absolute beast. George Kittle,
amazing.
Slay. Him and his wife, adopt me. They're incredible. I like the Frank Warner. It's Fred, not Frank.
I don't even know who that is.
Okay, Fred Warner. Like, I love their team, and I think the camaraderie that they experience on the team, I think the coaching staff is awesome. Like, they just have a really great team. So I will give my flowers to that team.
That doesn't mean we want them to win the Super Bowl by any means.
100%. And I still feel as if we are the better team. That's not saying we've looked better.
I think that's
this
the biggest
season.
joke of the season. It's like, this is so comical that we ended up in this
position.
But
it's also comical the 49ers ended up here because they have looked so wildly inconsistent. Like, it's too...
You can't really write that shit. These people that are saying the script.
You cannot write this. You can't. And I also think these are two amazingly packed football teams with strategy that you can't... I know I went on this rant in public when I was drunk at the sports bar to people that weren't Chiefs fans.
They were there.
True, bestie. Curlies, you weren't there. But I was saying, like, a good football team goes way past, like, the plays you see on the field. It is strategy built, like, years in advance. And our coaching staff, I say this all the time, like, I'd take a bullet for Andy Reid. Like, our coaching staff is so incredible. I believe the 49ers coaching staff is incredible as well. So it will be an amazing matchup. Little tidbit, little fun fact is... in 2020, the 49ers were favored, and in 2020, the Chiefs won 31-20. 11 points.
What a game that was.
It was an insane game.
There are few feelings like that. I mean,
on the planet. Yeah.
As someone that hasn't really experienced very much. But, like, back to the being in a bar with your best friends, it's also, like, being in a bar with an entire city. I was at Power and Light.
Same.
Oh, that was before we knew each other.
I know.
We were just across Power and Light. But being in a town that, at that point, we hadn't won the Super Bowl since 65.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not in our time. In our lifetime.
Unimaginable vibes. Tears.
Oh, my God.
It's
oh,
just,
my
like,
God.
the most
I bawled
incredible.
my eyes out for, like, 30 minutes. Like, inconsolable.
And to win it in the way that we did was just...
Yeah.
I was dancing, like, I guess recently I've been dancing on a lot of tables, but, like, after
That's
Chiefs
been a
win,
recent
I'm like,
thing?
ooh. But, like, we were just... I love camaraderie.
It is.
We just erupted with so much camaraderie, and
Yes.
I am looking forward to that this year again.
And it's been a high that, like, I hope everyone does experience it. I
100%.
like, it's not something I want for the Chiefs forever. I don't believe in that either. And I think
You kind of become numb to it.
Right.
Which is so... I hate saying that.
I believe
but
we're on our way to a dynasty 100%, and I'm not going to take that away. Once again, good planning, good coaching planning. But, yeah, just to say, 49ers were favored then. They're favored now. Chiefs won then. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Can't say anything
So
else.
my predictions for the Super Bowl is, like I just said, I think the Chiefs are going to take it. We always joke we're never betting against the Chiefs. We never have, and it hasn't steered us wrong clearly yet. So that's my bet. What's yours, Chlo?
I would say the same.
Okay.
I think Raegan would also agree.
Yeah, I think undoubtedly she would.
Yeah. I will say, as you guys are closet 49ers fans, I was kind of pulling for the Lions.
Yeah, I think
And
a lot of people were.
And I thought that would be the cutest little thing. Like I said last week, my best friend was a cheerleader for the Chiefs. Her husband is from Michigan, so I thought that would be a fun little matchup. But
Yeah.
I
mean, and we thought if you watched the game, like you thought the Lions were going to take it. So I think these two teams deserve to be there regardless of what the masses are saying.
Right.
But I'm excited.
my mom was making comments the other day about the game, and she's like, "Oh my God, did you see this?" And I said, "Well, to be honest, the bar that we were at, the TV was directly behind my head, so I couldn't see it, and I was just faced towards a TV showing Yellowstone. So while everybody's watching the football game, I was watching Yellowstone,
Eating Brussels sprouts.
and honestly, living my fucking life. So I think
You're like, my team already won. Me,
Yeah.
Brussels sprouts, and Yellowstone.
and Rip from
Rip.
Yellowstone. So
Yeah, that was the first time I watched Yellowstone that night.
You should. It's amazing.
I've heard that I'd like it. But
So good.
all right. Well,
Let
before
me
we
do
get
it.
in, what?
I was gonna say, let me read it, but
Okay, yeah, go for it. Before we get into our top 3 sports news stories of the week, we do have a sponsor, and our girl Chloe is going to read it for you.
I will. Our first sponsor is The Good Patch. The Good Patch are wearable patches designed to make each day just a little bit easier. Whether you need to look alive, find your zen, or clock in beauty sleep, they've got you covered. Simply peel, stick, and wear for up to 8 to 12 hours. We suggest rescue for hangovers, relief for the sore muscles, cycle for that time of the month, and B12 for a little extra energy. Use code NAME3PLAYERS, all spelled out, at checkout for 15% off.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
You read that ad, Chloe. Honestly, that might be...
Thank you.
Just get her a permanent mic for the ads. You do it better.
We could just record me saying it and then just plug her in.
Yeah, Raegan and I have been saying that for literally 36 episodes. We're like, why don't we just record this?
Sometimes they are funnier in the moment, though.
Yeah. You'd think
Or-
I'd have them memorized by now, but I don't.
I can kind of say them along with you sometimes.
Really? The water boy one for sure. I'll try it this time.
Okay.
All right, so it's that time. Top 3 sports news stories of the week. We let you know what you need to know. Every week we pick the top 3 sports stories and we give them to you straight. Okay, so our first story to kick it off is the most confusing. I'll be real with you girls. As mentioned, we are transparent here. And this one, it's confusing, but it's worth noting.
Correct.
It's a golf story. And that's about as clear as I can get. So it's the PGA Tour. This is my takeaway. Can I give you big picture?
Yes.
My takeaway is that the PGA Tour is trying to keep up with LIV golf. And we've talked about this a lot, that just kind of the twists and turns of the PGA and LIV since LIV came about with big Saudi money.
Huge.
Now, LIV, big Saudi money. PGA Tour, big Strategic Sports Group, SSG money. $3 billion to be exact. So Strategic Sports Group, SSG, have reached an investment deal to fund the PGA Tour's new for-profit entity, PGA Tour Enterprises. So Jay Monahan, who is the PGA Tour commissioner, is going to be CEO of this whole thing. And girls, really all you need to know is they're just trying to figure it out. They're trying to keep relevant. They are trying to give the players a little bit more of oomph in this whole thing, because that is what Liv is doing. So they're just trying to stay competitive, like any, reasonable business model does.
Right.
PGA Tour trying to keep up with Liv, and this whole deal with SSG, Strategic Sports Group, that's what this is doing.
Yeah. So essentially they've come to this agreement that will allow almost 200 PGA Tour players to receive equity in the new for-profit entity, the PGA Tour Enterprise, as Vic mentioned. So Jay Monahan came out and said that today's a very big, important day for the PGA Tour and their fans, because this deal makes the members owners of their own league. So they strengthen the collective investment of the players to therefore make the PGA Tour successful.
Yes. Doubling down on what I said prior about them trying to stay competitive with Liv, I just feel like they're like people leaving to go to Liv, and we're trying to make this make sense for you as well. It's just like it's all semantics at this point. Mm-hmm. But it is a big deal, because as of before this, the PGA Tour was definitely kind of a sitting duck as Liv has expanded and done all the things that they've done. So big stuff happening in golf. SSG is now invested. $3 billion is a lot of money. And as always, we're going to be excited for what comes next, because if we've learned anything about the PGA Liv saga, is it's kind of drama.
There's so much drama.
Yeah.
Do we understand all the drama?
No.
But we're here for it.
I talked to my resident golf man, one of my cousins, and we phoned a friend. Honestly, just 20 minutes ago in the middle of this episode, because we were like reading this and we're like, we genuinely don't get it, but we know it's like newsworthy. And he is golf obsessed, and he was just saying like, no one knows. Like, no one knows. Even like
he was like, let me phone a friend and figure this out as well.
Right. Like personally in like his life, and like our family friend, this is my cousin as mentioned, like our family friends are PGA golfers, and like they don't know what's going on. Like no one knows. It's literally, we're about to talk about NIL. Like same thing. No one really knows, because it's being made up as we go. So $3 billion is still noteworthy. We wanted to tell the girls, PGA is coming up. They're like, Liv, we got money too. What's up? Story 2 is definitely the first time we've ever reported on figure skating, right?
Yeah.
Russian figure skater Kamila Valieva has been disqualified for doping at the 2022 Winter Games in Beijing. So the U.S. has now been awarded the gold medal due to all of this. But basically, Girly was taking like athletes Ozempic. And by that, I mean trimetazidinian, I believe.
Sure.
But basically, it just makes you not jittery, or like it allows you to not change your performance due to like anxiety, nerves, whatever. And basically anything on that doping list is making your endurance better, your performance smoother, and you obviously can't do that because it's giving you the upper hand, it's giving you the advantage. Right. So our girly, Kamila, did so. And she tested positive right before the 2022 Winter Games. It was on Christmas Eve that she tested positive. And then they allowed her to compete because it was still going through all of the, it's like in Canada, I think, the board. But whatever, it's going through all of that process. And it obviously took until 2024 to figure it out. And yeah.
That's such a long time.
It's so weird. It's the weirdest process. I read about it for a while and it just doesn't make any sense. But the U.S. got the gold, so I guess go USA.
Go USA.
And good job not taking drugs. Our girly Kamila is now, she has a ban for 5 years. But she's young. I think she's 17.
Yeah, that's what you said.
So she'll be back, I'm assuming. But yeah.
Because she was 15 when she took that.
Right. Yeah.
Math.
So Kamila was 15 in the 2022 Winter Games. She doped. Now she got caught. The U.S. has the gold, and she's got to wait 5 years before she comes back. And Girly Pop better not be on drugs.
How would you feel if you were on the U.S. figure skating team? and you got silver, and then you got gold because she's disqualified.
Earlier, it's giving Reggie Bush Heisman energy where they took his Heisman away. Like, if you're gonna slap on the wrist, like, slap on the wrist then. Like, it just, like, doesn't make any sense, which, I mean, Reggie Bush Heisman is, like, a completely different scenario. Once again, take a joke. But, like, it is, why now? Like, does it matter now? Like, are these U.S. figure skaters? These
finger skaters. That's something that we could win gold in.
Yeah.
I know for a fact. We don't have to dope at all.
No. Are these U.S. figure skaters, like, sitting at home, not competing in the Olympics, being like, what's that? I have a gold? Like, it's just, like, it does not hit the same.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
I would keep my silver, probably.
When they took Reggie Bush Heisman away, did they give it to someone else? No way.
Probably not.
No way.
For me, you didn't really answer my question, which is totally fine. I know that you'd be like, I don't want the gold unless I earned it.
Oh my God,
That's
absolutely
totally
not. I would be so true, bestie. I would be like, don't even come near me with that unless I earned it in the moment.
That's exactly what I thought.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure.
Yeah.
I think I would feel the same way. It would, like you said, just would not hit the same. Being like,
it's pointless.
Oh, you only get gold because this one person fucked up. And
yeah.
They fucked around, found out,
So does that mean, like, the U.S. obviously had gotten silver? Does, like, the silver trickle down, the bronze trickle down? That just seems so unnecessary. Just take it from Girly and be like, or just ban her. Don't even take the medal. Just be like, you don't get to compete.
Yeah.
I'll let the Olympics know our thought process.
Let's phone them up.
Hey.
Phone them up. Why don't you just call Taylor up?
Why don't you just call the Olympics up?
Let them know your thoughts.
Excuse me, Olympics?
Hello, is this the Olympics? We need to have a chat.
Hello, Mr. Olympics? Yeah. Why did I assume it was Mr. Society?
I did too, which is
so society.
Such a bummer.
Okay, so moving on to our third and final story. This one's a silly one as well.
We're back to talking about the NIL.
We're back.
Issues.
We're talking about the NIL, which for the new girlies, if you're not aware, it's name, image, likeness. It basically is saying that college athletes can make money on their
name, their image, and if a lot of people like them or not. But they're popular. I don't know.
That is facts. Name, image, popularity.
Yeah.
But yes, so Tennessee and Virginia file a lawsuit against the NCAA, and basically this lawsuit is an antitrust lawsuit. We don't fully know what that means, but it's stating that, and I quote, enforcing rules that unfairly restrict how athletes can commercially use their name, image, and likeness, in parentheses, popularity, at a critical juncture in the recruiting calendar. So our takeaway is that NIL is new, and we're all just trying to figure out what makes sense and feels lawful and fair. And by all, I mean they. We don't have a
big they umbrella.
The big they. And basically, we're making this up as I go. What?
You are making up the rules. You are the NCAA.
I'm the news and the NCAA. But we're all just like making this up as we go because the NIL is a new concept. So like, of course there's going to be bumps in the road. There's also going to be things that make no fucking sense. This is one of them that like, they're just trying to find what feels like just. And recruiting students to play for your school and promising them X, Y, and Z does not feel just. Because then it's just like, excuse my language, but like a dick swinging contest of like...
Excuse my language, as if we don't say fuck every other word. Not every other word.
Okay, but like dick swinging was intense. So I just prefaced it. If you have a toddler...
Beware, we're about to say dick swinging. Earmuffs if you have a toddler in the room on our third story of the episode.
The 37th episode. They're trying to differentiate pay to play, which was always extremely illegal, still is, and NIL. If you are recruiting a kid, so say I want Chloe to come to my team. I'm like, Chloe, you're so good. Come to my team.
What am I good at?
You are so good at drinking wine.
Thank you.
And I want you to come to my school and I want you to drink wine. And you're so good at it that I'm like, oh my gosh, if you drink that wine like I know you can, and you can like be the name and face of this school, I will have Mercedes sponsor you, this local dealership. They'll give you a car. I will have this restaurant sponsor you, and like you'll never have to pay for a meal in your life all 4 years of college, and maybe 5 and maybe 6, honestly, at this rate of college athletes. And you will never have to buy groceries because this grocery store is doing this, and like for the rest of your life they're going to sponsor you for groceries. So it's like all of these things that's like, it isn't a check in your bank account, but essentially is. And there's a lot of hoops, there's a lot of gray area, and that's basically Tennessee and Virginia are like, make it make sense. What do you mean? So that's what this is. They're just trying to figure it out, and it's getting crazy. It honestly is giving story number 1 with the PGA Tour. Like, they're just trying to figure it out because sports are ever evolving. The pay for these sports are ever evolving, and everyone's just truly doing their best.
Yeah.
And I wish...
And I think what the colleges are wanting is just consistency.
Yeah.
Is my grand takeaway when I was trying to figure out what's going on in this situation.
100%. Because also the recruiters are like, what do you mean I can't do that? Because as soon as they step foot on campus, they get that. So like, why can't I tell them they're going to get that? And it's not a promise. It's just being like, hey, so-and-so got X, Y, and Z. Maybe that can happen for you. And that's also like, that's been happening in recruiting far before NIL. So these like slaps on the wrist that were happening before, now they're full lawsuits because it's legal. So it is just crazy. But basically, your takeaway, girlies, Tennessee, Virginia, lawsuit against the NCAA.
And they've had a lot of lawsuits. Since
November.
Yeah.
4 against the NCAA, I believe. I actually pulled that number out of my ass. I think
it's 3.
Okay.
Which, so close.
Yeah, overshooting by 1. Classic.
But yeah, they just want a little... The guidelines need to be...
Okay, this is actually headline, Tennessee, Virginia, make it make sense, is what they're saying to the NCAA.
Make it make sense, pay our people if you're going to allow them to make money.
Write the rules very, very clearly, or shut up, is what they're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Write the rules or shut up.
Write the rules, super clear, hold everyone to the same standard, or shut up. Put up or shut up, NCAA.
Yeah.
But I also get their point. But anyway.
But that's why we are the news, because news should be
100%.
Both sides.
Yeah, we'll give
get it
100%. We're an opinion piece. My opinion, I really don't know.
Yeah.
Which is maybe the first time that's ever happened where I've been neutral.
Ooh.
Me, Switzerland. All right, well, that was our last story. Kind of all over the place today. That's what happens when Raegan's gone. It's just kind of all over the place.
So we were looking at the stories. Raegan did end up sending us what we should talk about. She usually puts the outlines together. And then I'm weeding through these articles, trying to figure out what they're saying. I was never good in school.
Basically, Chloe is just... copy and pasting, but with her own words. It's as long as the article. I'm like, what are you doing? You're rewriting the article.
I really was using a lot of synonyms. Equally as hard synonyms.
I'm like, do you want me to read this whole thing?
I was not good in school. I was never good at note taking.
Listen.
And that's why I'm the audience, and I need Raegan and Victoria to interpret what they're saying and feed it to me in the most basic ass way.
Episode 37, that's accurate, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so episode 37, you guys are getting the gist. While Raegan's not here, we can let you know. So Raegan is the content girly. We both are watching all of sports media all week. And then we'll I'll send her stuff and be like, this would be interesting to talk about, whatever. Mm-hmm. But she is the one being like, this makes the most sense. This is getting the most hits on Twitter. Mm-hmm. Or whatever. This is
what the girls would want to know.
This is what the girls need to know. She is the decision factor in that. So she creates the outline, and then of course I make my comments. I'm the personality hire here, honestly. I don't really contribute to the actual content of this. I consume sports news all week. And then I come in, I sit down, and I read her notes, of course. But then I just talk. And that's really my job.
You're very off the... Is it cuff or cusp?
Off the cuff. I think you
cuff.
could say cusp as well. Synonyms, if you will.
I'm really good at those.
Yeah, clearly. But yeah, so I would say content girly, Raegan. Personality hire, me. And that's a little offensive to say about myself, but it's true. Think so. And then you are like the mediator of this whole...
And I'm the target audience because I don't know what the fuck's going on.
System. So it's really crazy when the content person isn't in the mix, because then it's just Chloe and I being like, I'm like cracking jokes, making comments of content I have consumed throughout the week, and then you're rewriting articles. So that's it. When Raegan's gone, that's what happens.
And sweet Raegan, she's like, I can do the outline. And we're like, no, like, this is your week off. You have stuff. You're sick. Like, we got this under control. Not sure that we do. We're doing our best.
I mean, I think it feels moderately in control.
Yeah. I think that's...
Should we have drank a bottle of wine?
No.
No. Okay, so with that, we are going into our walk outfit of the week and our special Glow Up 101 segment. But first, Chloe?
Waterboy.
But first, Waterboy. I'm always saying that.
Our walk outfits of the week are brought to you by Waterboy. Replenish after a long weekend with the stick of Waterboy. Formulated with electrolytes and vitamins, this hydrating drink mix helps reduce nausea and fatigue and helps you chill out after a weekend out. Each stick of Waterboy is vegan, has 0 sugar, and includes 3 times the electrolytes and vitamins than its competitors. The original Weekend Recovery is available in strawberry lemonade and blueberry flavors. Blue raspberry flavors.
I was going to say, that's a lie.
So you do know it.
Yeah, blue raspberry.
Okay. The original Weekend Recovery is available in strawberry lemonade and blueberry raspberry flavors. What? You're in my head.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. The original Weekend Recovery is available in strawberry lemonade and blue raspberry flavors with the newest athletic recovery in lemon lime. So whether it's from working out or going out, reach for Waterboy. Use the code FORTHEGIRLS for 15% off.
Stunning job, Chloe.
Thank you so much. Keep using those codes, girlies.
Yeah, you fought to get through that one.
Yeah,
that's okay.
It's like in my head, you know?
Yeah, it happens. Believe me.
I'm so sorry.
37 episodes in, I fucked it up probably 30 times. So, okay.
That does make me feel better.
Yeah. Well, I do what I can. Mm-hmm. All right, so our walk outfits of the week. Riggs is not here, but she did send in her walk outfit of the week because, well, for the first time in NTP history, it was unanimous. We both had the same walk outfit of the week. It was Odell Beckham Jr. at the Chiefs-Ravens AFC Championship game in head-to-toe detailed leather. The designer is by Jamie, and my God, was it stunning.
It was.
It was.
And as the resident not that into fashion girly, I can attest to that.
It was good. We stopped. Yeah. I mean, we were literally like...
We were at the bar.
Yeah.
Watching the game. The game hadn't even come on yet.
No, and we both like simultaneously were on Instagram. I think League Fits or something, post GQ, something posted it. And we both were like...
And then they showed me and I was like, no, yeah, that's so good.
So we thought... She's like, that's my fit of the week. I'm like, that's my fit of the week. And so it's our fit of the week.
A collective.
It's a collective fit of the week. So that's it. And then up next.
Coming up next
on Name 3 Players. Oh my God,
damn.
Cute. The wine is whining. Okay, so in place of our breakout segment, we have been doing...
what?
Breakout. In place of our breakdown segment, we have been doing Glow Up 101. Basically, to kick off 2024, for the month of January, we decided to replace our breakdown segment with what we have now coined the Glow Up 101. We're interviewing girls that are absolute badasses in their field. We have done fitness, nutrition, and today we have a very special guest talking about money. She is the founder and CEO of Deeper Than Money, and honestly, just an overall badass.
For
like,
real.
I started out as a fan, loved her like literacy program on finance, and then just became good friends with her through getting to know each other and what we do. And you'll be obsessed with her. Like, I know for a fact she's genuinely one of the most like electric people, and her heart for women is amazing, and you're about to hear it.
That's the first time I've ever talked to her.
Oh yeah.
That was our first Chloe meeting.
Chloe on Chloe.
And I am equally obsessed.
Yeah. She, like I said, her heart for just like championing women is incredible. And then like the way she makes money not scary and finance like accessible is absolute talent and a skill. And we're so lucky to hear her wisdom, for free. You're getting it for free. She's genuinely transformed like my view on money. So yeah, here we go.
Let's get into it.
This is it. Chloe Elise from Deeper Than Money. Without further ado, this is Finance for the Girls. We are jumping into it. So this is Chloe. She, we have been Chloe DTM Chloe. We're going to
stands for
Deeper Than Money. We're going to specify because we have NTP Chloe, as you all know, producer Chloe here as well. So we've got double the Chloe today. But
you're welcome.
But I think we really were like fans before we were friends, but now we have a friendship, which has been so incredible. But I'm obsessed with you on the outside as well, like obsessed with you and everything you do and the work that you do. And then also like you as a human being, both incredible. I'm so happy you're here because the girls are going to love you. And I know it. First of all, give us a brief overview of who you are, and then also just kind of what Deeper Than Money is, because they are two separate entities. You are it is you, but give us like who you are, who is Chloe, and who is Deeper Than Money.
For sure. So Chloe Elise, I also live in Kansas City and love it. I've lived here for like almost 5 years now, which is so exciting. And I am the CEO and founder of Deeper Than Money. And Deeper Than Money is a global financial literacy company that I founded back in 2018. And we teach not only the fundamentals of financial literacy, but also money psychology and the internal work that it takes to break a lot of the money cycles that people are stuck in. And I was a corporate girly and went through my own financial transformation and really saw the impact of what it looks like to not only gain financial literacy, but gain confidence around money. And at the time, as I was going through that process, all of the mainstream financial advice was so based on scarcity and restriction. And it wasn't sustainable, and it wasn't for the girls who were like, no, I want to get ahead with money, but I also want to enjoy my life. And so that is really what I set out to create with Deeper Than Money, was a company that was surrounded with empowerment and excitement. And here's how to get ahead with money and use strategy over sacrifice so you can enjoy the journey and make it meaningful.
Damn. Strategy over sacrifice. That just like,
yeah.
Woo, write that down. Well,
It's like it's in my book.
Yeah, just like you actually have it written down. Yeah, okay. Well, speaking of that, the book. Tell us about, obviously that's what Deeper Than Money is. Absolutely amazing. But then there is this actual written rule kind of system that you've created, and it has a book now.
The book, so I got I have a book that got published in August of 2023. And that was a wild process. It was kind of one of those things where I'm definitely a visionary. I'm definitely a dreamer. And I thrive in environments where I will throw out the craziest goal and then be like, I'll figure it out. Like, I'll just go for it. Like, might as well. Not having a rhyme or reason, not knowing the path of how, but trusting that the meaning of life and where I get so much enjoyment is the journey and the growth and the challenge, and leaning into that and enjoying it. People in the Deeper Than Money community had asked for that from me for a long time. And I'm very much not a long form writer. I'm not incredibly articulate. I'm like the last English class I took was in high school. Like I was like, this is so outside my comfort zone. I have no idea how to get a book deal. I have no idea any of the process, but I always love to set wild goals and then just enjoy the process of, you know, kind of like fuck around and find, can I say that?
Yeah. Oh
yeah,
my God.
always.
Fuck around and find out everything's figure outable and just go for it. So yeah, the book came out in 2023, and it's really not only about my philosophy about money, of that strategy over sacrifice, but also a lot of where to start and how to feel like you belong at the table, because for a lot of us, that isn't something where we've inherently felt like I belong in the finance world for some or a lot of our lives.
That's amazing. I love one time you posted, like Deeper Than Money posted and said like the way that we, obviously it's a completely different context, but the way like Name 3 Players is for sports for the girls, it's to like break down the bias and pull up a seat at the table and be like, you can consume sports culture and talk about it and like have opinions and say the things that you want to say, and it not feel like you're not allowed in that room. Like we're breaking down, we're in the room now, and not just in the room, we're being loud about being in the room. And I think the way, like after reading your book, that is exactly how you feel, like equipped to speak on it, and you don't feel stupid for talking about money. Like I think that is so, it kind of goes into the next question that we have, but like especially as women, just feeling like you should know already. You shouldn't talk about it. You shouldn't ask questions. You should just know, but like know your place. It shouldn't be like all about money. And if it like, there's just so much like weird energy and stigma around money as a woman. And then I think specifically, even narrowing that down further, our age group, like that, like mid 20s to like mid 30s. It's like you should have it all figured out, but you shouldn't talk about it, and you shouldn't talk about making too much money, and you definitely shouldn't talk about making too little money. It's just like this weird conundrum that like why is it there? Can you tell us too, like just a little bit, as far as your book isn't directly towards women, but you can absolutely tell there's like some sort of fire within it that is like propelling towards women. Can you speak on that a little bit? Like what made you passionate?
I've been the girl who has so much stress and anxiety around money, who genuinely feels like this is just all there is for me. I'll never get out of money. Oh, that like building wealth, like that's not even in the realms of what's possible for me. Like I know what it feels like to feel like that. And I also know what it feels like to be on the other side where like I am wealthy. I know financial literacy. I have confidence around money. Like I have all that. I don't have stress. I don't have anxiety around money. So to have been in both spots in my life, but to currently be living in the like mountaintop, if you will, I look down and I'm like, no, get in, ladies. Like we're going.
Get in, girls.
I'm like, get in, girls. Like this is so much better.
We're getting unbroke.
Yeah, like I've been there. This is better. Like this feels better. Like, come on. And so in kind of that's how Deeper Than Money started, where I started sharing my journey of like, it originally started because I was $36,000 in debt. And I was like, I got to figure this out. I ended up paying it off in 18 months. And was like, holy shit, this is crazy. I've never been able to get ahead with money in my life. And now all of a sudden I figured out all these things and was able to. And so that was a very pivotal moment for me. And then when I started sharing that, people would come to me in my DMs and be like, wait, I struggle with this too. I've just never been allowed to talk about it. Yeah. And it's so wild because money is one of those things where you're not supposed to talk about it. You're not supposed to like talk about it at work. You're not supposed to talk about it at home. We don't learn about it in school. How are you supposed to learn? Where are you supposed to go? And so right. When you're in that situation, and then most mainstream financial advice is like, oh, you're just being done with your money. Spend less, idiot. Stop doing this. Stop doing that. Stop doing this.
Yeah, this scarcity mindset that's so easy to like evade because we live in a capitalistic society.
Exactly. Our entire lives are spending. You have to spend to get your basic needs met. So when you have this stressful relationship with money, you are always stressed. And so and again, that's why Deeper the Money has the name Deeper the Money, because at our company, we don't just teach, follow these 10 steps and do this and do this. We also teach, what are your priorities? What are your goals? Why do you believe these certain things to be true? What were you taught about money? And healing this relationship so you can be in a spot where we will never be able to evade this capitalistic environment. So how can we use this in a spot where we have a healthy relationship and see money as a resource that allows us to, reach those goals that we have?
Love. I feel like one of the things, and you did touch on this just now, but like something referring back to your book that I feel like, because I even took like the Dave Ramsey shit. In the way it's like, and I'm sure it works for some people, but I think your approach, and honestly, it's like the other girls we've had on the podcast for this Glow Up series, it's like just becoming more intuitive with everything, becoming more intuitive with exercise, with diet, with your finances, because when you have these resources and you equip your mind and you're kind of like rewriting your brain chemistry on it, if you will, you become more intuitive, and it's not this like scarcity mindset, this checklist. Like the nutritionist we had on, Abby, 2 weeks ago, she was like, it's not about the 6-week challenge. It's about like how you can move forward for the rest of your life to build these habits. And I think that's also like where we get it wrong. Like, it's not about just the savings goal. It's not about just like, well, I don't know, eat out less, or like, don't buy the Prada bag or whatever, which like I probably, should, I should be noting that a little bit more, but like it's deeper than that. It like literally, it's deeper than money. As for everything we just talked about, practical, tangible step, money is obviously so scary for so many people. And like we said, especially women. Do you have anything that's like, this is where you get started? Like if the girls are listening to this for the first time and they're like, shit, I just came to this for freaking sports news, and now I'm thinking about my credit score. Like, where do they start tomorrow?
Because here at Deeper the Money, we do both the like tangible and the mindset. I have two different things. One is a tangible, go and do this, and one is a like mindset reflection. The tangible thing that you can go and do if you're listening to this is to go and open a high yield savings account. You might be thinking, what is a high yield savings account? Your regular savings account should be free. If it's not, that's a problem also. But it should be free. It is making you no money. So if you have money sitting in your savings account, it is literally maybe making you a couple pennies every year. If you put that same amount of money in a high yield savings account, a high yield savings account earns interest. You cannot lose money. You can only gain money. It is one of the number one things people DM and be like, oh, I don't want to open one. And I'm like, why? And they're like, it seems too good to be true. I'm like, it literally is. Every single person, if you're listening to this, you should have a high yield savings account. Your parents should, your mailman should, your cousins, like every person, go and tell them, open a high yield savings account, open a high yield savings account. And we literally like, this is my like number one thing to get everyone, because once you have a high yield savings account, it's one of these simplest shifts. It's free, and you get to have your money sit there, no matter how big or small, and you get to see month after month that money is earning you money. For a lot of people, that is their first experience in passive income of, wait, my money sat there and made me $10 this month, or $100 this month, or $1,000 this month, like whatever else. That's our first, and it's the first time where I guarantee you are out there working your ass off. You are making money. You are doing all this stuff. Let your money work hard for you. Like, this is the strategy piece that we're talking about. And even if it is $10 your first month because you're working on growing your savings, okay, cool. Like, that's $10 that you just poof out of thin air made for yourself, that you can go and buy a drink and enjoy it and whatever else. So open a high yield savings account. If you're still thinking, but I don't know how to do it, I have a training where it's 10 minutes, and on it, all I do is open a high yield savings account, and I share my screen so you can follow me, click the same buttons and get it open. It's a free training. It's 10 minutes, solely because it's my goal in life to get every girl to have a high yield savings account. So that's my number one.
Girls have high yield savings accounts.
If you are an NTP stan, you will go and open a high yield savings account. All the girls.
Okay, we'll post it. We're gonna post your little. Is it like a reel on your Instagram?
Yes.
Perfect.
And then
You should do that.
So he's like, I'm actually gonna leave here and go do that.
no. And it takes 2 seconds to open one. Like, it's the absolute best. The second tangible thing, like more reflection, inner work piece, is for one day, every purchase that you make, this is an exercise in being more intentional with your spending. Before every single purchase, tell yourself, if I purchase this, I'm going to enjoy the purchase guilt-free. And if I won't allow myself to do that, then I'm not going to spend it. And what this does is it trains yourself to be more aware of how much guilt and shame you are attaching to every purchase. So for example, I just had a little matcha on my walk today. And if I'm thinking, oh, I want a matcha, a lot of people, the first thought is, oh, a matcha sounds so great. The immediate second thought is, you shouldn't be buying that. You shouldn't, you need to not spend.
Yeah.
But then they'll be like, screw it, I want it. And they'll go and do it. But then they'll be like, oh, I shouldn't have bought this. Like, oh, and then they'll check their bank account. They'll see the purchase and they'll be like, oh, why do I always do that? And there's guilt attached to it. And that's hurting your relationship with money. It's actually hurting in the sustainable, hitting of other goals. And so instead, like rewiring that to be like, I want a matcha. And then that thought pops up of like, oh, I need to stop spending, and saying, no, like this is something, maybe I'm going to plan for this purchase or whatever else. And really thinking to yourself, okay, let's say the matcha is $5. Is that where I want my $5 to go today? And if that is where you want your $5 to go, and that's in the most alignment, go and do it and allow yourself to enjoy that purchase guilt-free. And if you're like, you know what, I'm going to feel so guilty about this, I'm going to look at my bank account and hate and be so mad. Okay, then say, you know what, I choose to not do that. But instead, I'd rather put that $5 in savings or toward credit card debt, or let it sit in my savings. But make the choice, and whatever choice you do, make that be something that you're like, oh, that feels so good. And what this does is it literally just makes you pause and really create more intentionality in every single dollar, no matter where it's going. So those are the two, like, what can you implement today? Open a high-yield savings account and do that audit of your purchases throughout the day, and making sure every single decision, whether you purchase it or not, is completely intentional.
I need to do that.
Yeah.
Because I do find that. And I'm a self-indulgent girly. Like, I treat myself. Like, I work hard for my money, so I'm going to treat myself. That's always kind of my MO. But there's so much guilt attached to that, even though I continue to do so. There's so much like, why did I do that? Why did I buy that? Like, why did I online shop like that? Why did I do that? And then like it comes and I'm like, ooh, yay, serotonin hit. But then like the guilt immediately takes over. But like,
does the serotonin outweigh the guilt?
Right.
Or other way around?
Okay. Very good. Very good. Noted.
I bought concert tickets today and I was so excited. And at first I was like, do I need to be spending money on this? But I was like, this is one of your favorite performers. You get to go with your really 100%. Good friends. This is the best purchase all year.
This was one of your ends. You deserve, queen. Yeah. And you do work hard for it.
Thank you.
What kind of going off of that, like what's a common myth or misconception you'd like to debunk when helping the girls with their finances?
Okay. There's kind of like two, but they're intertwined.
Okay.
The myth, the statement is that the goal is to spend as little as possible. That's a myth. That's a myth. Yeah. And the idea behind this is that in order to get ahead, you have to rely on cutting back. Like, rely on cutting back, stop spending, stop doing this. Like, that's the reason you're not getting ahead. And we see this all the time with like, don't buy a Starbucks. That's why you can't afford a down payment on a home. Like, what? That's crazy. And with that, the secondary myth that these are often tied to each other, like really, really together, is that there's like morally good ways to spend money and bad. So like, I'll see a lot of financial gurus who will be like, Starbucks is a waste of money. And I'll be like, for who? Like for you, the self-indulgent, like, why would you spend this money? Why would you do that? Here's good ways to spend money and here's bad. And I even get this a lot. I'll get DMs of like, should I spend my money doing this or should I do this? And I'm like, or they'll say, well, what would you do? And I'm like, well, how I would spend my money should not be how you spend your money. Like I have different priorities. I have different dreams. I have different goals. So like to me, certain things would be a complete waste, where to me, there are certain things that are like the best thing ever. And it's still changing inside of me. Like I laugh all the time. Like the perfect example on a sports podcast is if I would have told myself in 2018 that one of my bigger purchases every year is season tickets for the Chiefs, I would have been like, is there a gun to your head? Why would you ever do that? I didn't care about sports. I didn't care about if anything, I was like, why are we watching? Like, can this, like, how many more games? Like, whatever else. I would have never thought, because I grew up in Iowa. Everybody likes a different team. There's no camaraderie. There's no community. Like, I didn't get into it. And then when I moved to Kansas City 5 years ago, I just fell in love with this sense of Red Fridays and, Victory Mondays and and you see the players, they're out supporting small business. It's just so cool. And immediately I just fell in love with it and have, now it's like one of my absolute favorite things. And so me in 2018, if someone was like, should I buy these Chiefs season tickets? For me, I would have been like, absolutely not. Why would I buy that?
Yeah, what a waste of money.
That's not a priority to me. But me now, I'm like, oh my gosh, that is one of the utmost priorities. And so understanding that there's not good or bad ways to spend money. And again, a lot of that guilt and shame, especially for women treating themselves, because our generation is breaking through so many stigmas, so many barriers of that women need to sacrifice. And why are you spending money on yourself? And even just I can remember growing up, my mom would never buy clothes for herself. And she'd be like, oh, no, I shouldn't be spending money on that. I shouldn't be spending money on that. And, whatever else. I feel like that was very, very common, more so in our parents' generation, where our generation, we love self-care. We love treating ourselves great. But there's so much stigma around that then there's also guilt on top of that. So, and a lot of that comes from thinking, well, that's a wasteful way to spend money when I have debt, when I have this goal, when I have this. And instead, if we shift to what we want to believe, which the goal is spending in alignment, to me, going and getting acupuncture and chiropractic care, once a month, that is an absolute priority to me. So that's a great way to spend money for me. For someone who is like, oh, I'm not into that. I don't really do that. That's not a great way for them to spend money. And so really shifting that, it changes the way you feel about things, and it releases so much guilt, because if my goal is alignment and paying to, go and get acupuncture, that is in my utmost alignment. That's the goal. So I'm hitting the goal. So even when I'm spending, that's a money goal that I'm hitting, and that's a massive slay, and we love it. So to that internal perspective shift, but then at the same time, adding strategy to your finances. So you're seeing these money wins at the same time that you're decreasing guilt and shame around how you spend, completely transforms not only the way you look at money, but your finances and your financial goals.
Yeah. I think something that you've said, and also it's referenced in your book, and you don't use the term spark joy, but I've really tried to break down my guilt with materialistic things. I love fashion. I love clothes. And you and I even have had this specific conversation about labels and stuff. If I'm trying to reach a savings goal, is it bad that I do splurge on the heels or whatever? And it's it's not, because it's bringing me, it is in alignment with me. It's in alignment with my interests and what brings me joy. And I wear those shoes constantly. I see them, they every time I wear them, it's contributing to my overall happiness. And that's not your shtick, but it's mine. And then you do stuff that isn't mine. And it's so personal that then when you do indulge in those things, you're not overspending in other areas that aren't personal to you. They're not aligned.
Yeah. And on top of that, so much of it is perspective. Like, let's compare like Prada shoes. Like, you have Prada shoes compared to somebody else who's like, I shouldn't buy those Prada shoes. I'm going to buy these other shoes. Same, like I don't know, let's just say knockoff version. They're $100. And they put on these $100 shoes. They're so uncomfy. They wear them out one night. They get blisters, but they scuff them up. And so they're like, oh, I can't return them. I'll probably find another use for them. They go in the closet, never worn again. You, on the other hand, have your Prada shoes. Let's say, I don't know how much, let's say they're $2,000. I just made that up. And you have worn them so many times. They're your favorite shoes. You've worn them in, you know, you're creative. You've worn them in shoots. You've worn them in this, and you love them. You love the vibe of them. You love, they're comfy because I borrowed them. And they're like, and so so we look at it and it's like the cost per use in that example, let's say the cost per use for you to date, and you're, you know, likely going to wear them in the future, is $50. Whereas the person who bought the knockoff shoes, who was like, I would never buy Prada, that's so stupid, their cost per use is $100. So it's like the way we look at things is so
straight.
Different. And that doesn't mean for someone who doesn't care about the Prada shoes or doesn't necessarily want them or whatever else that they need to go buy them. They don't. But I get so unbelievably heated about judgments of others and the way they spend money, or the shame that we throw on others, because so often people don't realize that the financial shame you project onto others is hurting your own relationship with money so much.
Yes.
That voice that you're screaming at other people is the same voice that's replaying in your head when you are spending money. And so again, it's like healing that in yourself and shifting that perspective to where, again, alignment is the goal and not the judgment of like, oh, this is bad, this is wasteful. No, it's not. If it is in alignment. So that shifts everything.
It's literally girl math.
It's girl math.
Like, you were like handshake emoji, girl math. But like in a good
money, girl math.
Good positive girl math.
Yeah.
Because the shoes are basically free after you wear them.
We love healthy girl math. Oh, my Prada shoes are free.
Yeah.
Like at this point, like she said, she's borrowed them. I mean, some people have borrowed them. If people that borrowed my clothes, that's my girl math. I'm like, this is actually community service at this point.
It is.
It really is. Can attest.
Charity.
I wish I could give you like a Goodwill form, like after I borrowed them, like I give it back and then you
a tax write-off. That honestly is
unbelievable. The amount of times I've come over and I'm like, I have nothing to wear, and she's like, I'll style you, and then we run out of time, and she's rushing around. She's like, I need to style myself.
I literally just said that like last weekend. I was like, hey, new rule. I get ready first. I style myself first. I like get my hair and makeup done, and then I dress you bitches, because I am done like running out of time and being like the last one out the door because I've made everyone else's outfits look incredible. Okay, so we're all about the ins and outs. We've talked about that. That's like our new, we're pushing out like, you know, New Year's resolutions, and now we've got our ins and outs list. And especially with like our glow up series, we feel like we've kind of been hitting that super hard. And us three are chronically online. We know ins and outs are it. What are the ins and outs right now for money in 2024 for the girls?
Some of them I might have to explain a little bit, but I'll just run through them. Okay. Ins for 2024, high yield savings account. We already covered it. If you don't have a high yield savings account, that is first on the docket for you. Investing, whether that be learning about investing, whether that be increasing your 401k contributions, whatever that is, investing is in. Next one, talking about money at brunch, bringing up money as a bullet point list of what the girls are talking about at brunch of like, oh my God, wait, where is that shirt from? Oh my gosh, wait, do you guys have a Roth IRA? Money is now on the bulletin board of topics that we're covering. Okay, next one is negotiating or advocating for yourself. Speaking up. You see a charge hit your bank account, instead of being like, oh, I probably messed up. No, call. Hi, can you explain this charge? What was this? Okay, can I get that? Is there any way that can be taken care of or reversed? Thank you so much for letting me know. That won't happen again. Amazing. Awesome. Bye. Negotiating, advocating for yourself. Always Next one is prenups. Get a prenup for all my engaged ladies out there. Get a prenup. Prenup is not just for mega rich athletes. Prenups are for everybody. Get a prenup.
And it's not a bad word.
No, it's not a bad word. Like the example I always give is this actually happened literally like a couple weeks ago with one of my, like a really close friend of mine. I was like, are you getting a prenup? It's my favorite question to ask anyone who's engaged. I'm like, oh, amazing. Are you getting a prenup? And she's like, no, I would never get a prenup. That's like wishing ill will on the marriage. And I was like, oh, right. So you don't have like house insurance, do you? She's like, what? I'm like, well, house insurance is like wishing for a fire, right? It's like wishing for your house to get burned down. And she was like, holy shit. And I was like, yeah, you're right. It's protecting you in a worst case scenario so you can sleep better at night. That's what a prenup is. So prenup.
That is so good, Chloe. Oh, what a metaphor.
Her other argument was like, but we're never going to get a divorce. I'm like, then you'll never use it again. So might as well take 10 minutes to protect yourself for a worst case scenario. And then if you never get a divorce, burn the papers at your deathbed. Who cares? You never have to see him again.
Also, it's not like house insurance. You don't have to pay into it every single month. You're just,
you
have it. It's a security blanket.
A one-timer. So prenups are in. Next one is sending hey, you can plan to spend this amount text before asking somebody to commit to something. So, hey, girls trip, here's about how much Airbnb would be. We would be doing these 3 things. So here's about how much you can plan. Are you in? Instead of being like, hey, are you in? And then surprise, here's how much it is. We want everyone else to be planning, and we want those to be transparent conversations, because not only does it allow for other people to know what they're getting into ahead of time, but allows for money transparency and really open and honest conversations. And honestly, a lot of times it can lead to conversations like, shoot, I don't think I'll be able to swing it. And then if for some reason the cost ends up being lower, you can reach back out to that person. Hey, it ended up being lower. Like, is that something, you'd be interested in now? And sometimes it can lead to people being able to go who weren't originally. So incredible. Next one is leaning in when someone is talking about money, specifically if you don't know what they're talking about. So often I feel like it's very similar in sports where it's like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I'm out of here. And it's like, no. Lean in and be like, wait, what was that? Google it later. Like, use that as something to insert yourself and be like, no, I belong here. Next one, count yourself in now, figure it out later. That's the mentality of whether it be applying for a job, going for a goal, setting a money goal is, here's my money goal. I'll figure out how to reach it down the road. Next one, automated finances. Set up automation so you don't have to think about transferring money to savings or whatever else. Next one is heart-centered in the moment giving. So I give in 2 different ways. One is kind of like standard contributions to either causes I care about, whatever else. But something else I love doing is in the moment giving, where I will just intentionally set aside cash in my wallet or something like that for where I am walking through life being like, who needs this? Like, who can I support? Who can I serve? Who can I just, and it could be a friend, it could be a stranger, it could be whatever, but it allows you to really associate money with a resource that you can use to benefit the lives and your community, the lives around you, your community, whatever else. So I love that, like, in the moment, intentional giving. Okay. I only have 3 more. Next one
was amazing.
That was great.
Wow.
Thank you. Okay. 3 more for ins and then a couple outs. Next one is asking for clarification. If you're this happens all the time with finances, you're on the phone, and especially with like your bank or some financial institution, one of the biggest barriers in the financial world is there's so much jargon. Like, you ask one question and they answer it with more jargon you don't know. And you're like, okay, bye. And you have no idea. So clarify and being like, can you clarify? Does that mean this? Or can you tell me what this means? And not worrying about, but they'll think I'm stupid. The 1-800 number of US Bank, like, who cares? Who cares? Like, I want you to get the info, and we don't care if the customer service rep thinks, oh, she's dumb, and they don't. Okay.
That's so good. Who gives a fuck what the US Bank? You're never going to meet that person ever.
She's writing on your account like, girl is dumb. Like, okay, I don't care. Like, I don't care.
Girl is dumb.
Okay, the last 2 we talked about this a little bit, but enjoying something that you're not great at yet. I think this is just, again, we kind of talked about this with like joining, like for me, like coming to the sports world, there's still so much I don't know about football. Like I'll be watching and I'll turn to somebody and be like, wait, what does that call mean? Or like, why did that? And I used to be so scared to do that because I'm like, oh, they're going to think I'm stupid. They're going to be annoyed. No, like I'm allowed to enjoy this game and still say, I love the Chiefs and also not know everything. Like you're allowed to just have a seat at the table, even if you don't know. And the same thing applies with finances. And then the last one is investing in elevating your life and truly seeing that as an investment instead of seeing it as wasted money or like money that should be going elsewhere. And like you are your best investment. Like, are you kidding me? Like you are your best investment and truly seeing it as that. Okay, so those are my ins.
Those were so
Great.
good, Chloe.
Lindsay just walked out of her room and she goes, I love her.
Okay, these are my outs. I have less outs, but they are a little spicy. Okay, first out, justifying how you are spending your hard-earned money. What? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Disgusting. No, like if somebody's like, wait, you bought that? Be like, I'm sorry. Do you manage my paycheck? Like what? How do you have a say in this in any capacity? If they don't pay my bills, I don't pay attention. Just like etch that somewhere because we're no longer justifying how you.
That's the next finger tattoo for you. Money sign on this side. If you don't pay my bills, it's long. If you don't pay
it like wraps all around. It like goes around my face and back. The next one is enabling others financially. The wild thing is because I do work with primarily women, I see this like one of the silent factors that really hurts women is enabling the crusty dusty boyfriends or partners in their lives. And one of the reasons it's so silent is because there's so much shame. Like I saw a TikTok once and I was like, I've never felt so seen in my life. I didn't know this was like a universal thing, but it was like this girl and she was like handing my card under the table. So it looks like my boyfriend's paying like when I'm paying. And I was like, oh my gosh, I used to do that all the time in an old relationship. And I was like, I can't let anybody know that like because that emasculates him. It's like, no, we're not enabling others. And again, it can be family, it can be friends, it can be whatever, but truly setting boundaries because enabling others financially doesn't help you and it doesn't help them. So we're no longer enabling anyone else. The next one we also kind of talked about, but judging how someone else spends their money because you're sending bad energy to them and you're also projecting that back into yourself. And we're no longer doing that. The next one is the phrase, ugh, I need to stop spending money. Why? Do you need to stop spending money? Or is the phrase, can we instead change the phrase to, I really want to be more intentional about where my money goes? That's an empowering phrase. I need to stop spending money is the same thing you were told when you were a little kid at the grocery store and wanted a toy and your parent was like, no, you can't have that. And how does that feel as a kid? You're like, damn, this sucks. Like this feels
and
like,
you're also like, was I not a good enough kid to not get the thing?
Yeah.
Like, and yes.
And now like you're a grown adult, like stop telling yourself you can't do things. You can't, that's the ultimate goal. The goal is like being intentional.
That one blew my mind a little.
Okay, good.
Lindsay's snapping in the background too.
Okay. The next one is buying with strings attached. This is kind of a controversial thing, but I do not like when somebody says, like somebody is like, I'll buy your dinner. And then they're like, just get mine next time. I don't like that because you're saying, I got this for you, but then you owe me. And it creates this weird dynamic that can end up being really toxic. And so what I recommend and why I'm saying that's an out is to instead do, like, if you want to buy something, you're buying with no strings attached. Because if you say like, I'll get this, but like you get my dinner next time, you're creating a situation where it's so easy to end in disappointment and resentment and hurt that relationship. And we never want to do anything where our money is hurting our relationships. And so if you do that and the next time they don't get you dinner and you're like, oh, okay, like I just bought them dinner last time, that can seem like it's a them problem, but it's actually a you problem because you're the one who set those expectations to where your feelings are hurt by someone else's actions who you're not in control of. And so setting that boundary of if I want to buy my friend dinner, I'm going to buy them dinner, but I'm going to buy them dinner just because I want to buy them dinner, not because they owe me something later. And if you don't want to buy them dinner, don't buy them dinner. Just don't
split it.
Yeah. Just split it.
This is so funny because I literally had this thought process last weekend at the bar when we were watching a Chiefs game, like with the girls. And I'm like we were like, shots. This is so on brand for this podcast. This is the best example. And this actually happened. But I was like, shots. And then I'm like, no, I got this one. Like that was like a gift. Like, you know, but then it's like, but then there are also times where it's like, we're all going to have a shot and like, we are going to split it, or like, we're going to buy a bottle of wine. And it's not like, oh, I got this one. Or like we bought a gift for a friend and I'm like, Venmo me, or like, no, that's okay. That's on me. That you really do. Like, if you're going to split it, just split it. And if it's something on you, just like let it be on you, because then the expectation, the like annoyance, all of it, you just don't even have to fuck with it anymore.
I think about it all the time that it is my job to make my relationship with money as clean as possible. You should never set yourself in a situation where you're annoyed that, especially if you're not speaking up about it, about like, oh, I paid for a dinner, she hasn't Venmoed me. Shoot her a text, hey, here's how much dinner was. Like your half was X amount, but better yet, before the dinner, be like, hey, like, you know, we can split this, or I can put my card down and whatever else. Like have those conversations ahead of time. So there doesn't need to be any weird energy.
I loved when you said keep it, to quote your queen, I keep my side of the street clean.
Oh, doesn't it feel so good? And doesn't it feel so good? And, you know, there's a lot of people that truly, they would not know what you mean by that.
Yeah.
Because they don't.
Okay. So you got it.
Okay. And then let's see. My last one of outs is keeping anything that you've ordered or whatever just because it's good enough. If we're not feeling like, oh my God, I look amazing. Or it doesn't, you know, you get something and it's like, oh, this is perfect here. Like if it's not evoking that energy in your life, it's not adding to your life. So if it's not this, there is better. And so
it's not a fuck yes.
It's a fuck no. That's our aim.
That is the mentality.
Universal truth.
Yeah, that's the mentality with spending. And I mean, this is more of like the mindset, like inner workings of it. But if you are accepting something where the feeling is like, but I accept that, you're accepting that energy and we are elevating. And again, that doesn't necessarily mean spending more money at all. Like a lot of times it's just doing the research to find the right thing or the right fit, but trusting that there is the perfect fit in any capacity, whether it be jeans, whether it be an electronic thing, like whatever it is. That is my last out, because that is some of like the stickiest energy where that whatever it is, it's just like sitting there and you're like, oh, and it never like scratches that itch of what you wanted. And it ends up feeling like low energy and a waste of money, which is icky energy. And so we're just eating that. And
I needed, that felt personal to me.
She's like, I wrote that for you.
I felt very seen by that. There is a pile of clothes and shoes and other things with the tags on them that are just piled next to one of my mini dressers in my room.
And like back to your spark joy comment, but it's like those things have energy attached to them because you use your resources to get them. And if they're not serving you, even just like that pile, I'm sure like in some way or shape or form, like looms over you. And it's
it does. Every single time I see it, Chloe, I see it every single day. It's by my bed. I get up and I'm like, you piece of shit. Yeah. There's so much money just sitting there.
But this is like my favorite hack is take your least favorite thing, especially if it's about money or whatever else, and make it something so fun. Like literally be like, hey, 20, you know, one of the girls, whatever else, be like, hey, Saturday morning, how about I will buy us coffee if you come with me and we do all of my returns, and then we go to a cute little coffee shop and we enjoy it and we celebrate and do, and then we come home. And it ends up being this for the girls, fun, silly little coffee treat moment. And you have someone to do it with you who potentially also has fucking returns to send in, because who doesn't have a little stack that has to go back to UPS at all times? And you can go and do it together. And it ends up being something where it's like, okay, perfect. We're doing this together. We're cranking off. and then you're clearing that energy. You're getting that money back because that's just sitting there in kind of like a wasteland of your resource, so you can use that resource for how you want. And then it's like elevation, and something you're looking forward to.
Yes. And another habit. It's just like a habit I have to freaking break. It's literally a joke. Like every time they get in my car, they're like, oh, just a Revolve bag sitting here on the floorboard. And I'm like, ooh, yeah, I missed the return date.
Or it's like, I'm going to put you in this. I'm like, are you sure the tag's still on it? And she's like, it's been in my closet for about 3 years. I'm like, okay.
That one was a little tough, Chloe, but that's all right.
I mean, I am reaping the benefits, but I'd rather you reap them.
So true, bestie. Hey, I've been doing really good for 2024.
Good.
One of my ends, Chloe, I'm talking to both of you. One of my ends was, I'll read it to you. Investing in experiences. And then one of my outs, kind of on the opposite end of that, is investing in clothes I'll only wear once, because that's not investing. That's just buying.
Yeah.
We're investing. Because I do believe that clothes are an investment, and I do invest in them. But when you're just frivolously buying, that's not investing in shit.
And one of the biggest mindset shifts, which again, we do a lot of this, because I have never in my life said to a client, like, just don't buy that. Stop, buy less of this. Never. I teach them how to rewire their brain so they know, like, you kind of like get the ick for things you don't want. And by focusing on alignment, the outcome I should say the side effect of that is no longer feeling like you're impulse shopping or overspending. But you don't have, like, most financial like literacy programs will be like, stop spending, stop doing that. We would never say that. We're like, no. What's your priority? What's your goals? Whatever. And it's like,
so like, what's the why? And is the why healthy? And if not, let's make it healthy.
Then it's like, ew, I don't want that. Like, I don't want shit in my closet that's just taking up space and energy. Yeah. Like, I don't
just my friends wear, because I don't even wear it. That's so silly.
Exactly. So that's the vibe. That's a 2024 vibe.
It is. It's an in and out is what it is. Yeah. Okay, well, finally, where can the girlies find you and all of your wealth of knowledge? Obviously, we talked about the book, but where else? Like, can they take classes? Do you have, obviously you have a couple of Instagram followers, just a few, and they're all watching your reels.
You can find us on any social media, Deeper Than Money, on any platform. And again, we have the book Deeper Than Money, but we also have tons and tons and tons of free resources. We have a podcast also called Deeper Than Money. Like, your best bet is just searching Deeper Than Money. But we have free trainings on, again, how to open a high yield savings account, just like a lot of like the basics of financing or finances. We have a 12-week program that is for someone who's like, I want to dive in, go all in, figure out my finances. It's basically like a semester class of college, but it's all about how to get ahead with money, pay off debt, invest, build wealth passively, like all of the things. So that's like our higher level stuff, but truly we have resources at every level. Like, whatever you need, we have a resource that is a perfect fit. Again, our ultimate goal is helping and, letting money be a conversation for the girls, and where there's a seat at the table and where it feels like, so much. And I think this is so similar to sports, but it's like a lot of, when you think anything finance, it's anti-feminine, right? It's like, even when I first started Deeper Than Money, it was like, okay, I can't talk how I normally talk, and I can't look how I normally look, because I won't be taken seriously, because I don't look like a finance expert. I don't look like someone who's this. I don't look like this. I don't look like this. And so much of, the beginning of my journey, I just struggled, because I'm like, I just feel like I'm trying to be all these things. And really, when not only like me personally kind of like figured it all out, but when Deeper Than Money really started growing, was when I was like, fuck it. I am not corporate. I am not, like, I have like a vocabulary of a third grader. Like, I cuss like a sailor. I love wearing cute little matching workout sets. I am wearing like a sports bra and leggings like most of the day. And I also am, you know, an expert in finance. I also get to hit these crazy goals. I also get to be an author. I also get to do this. And it's like reclaiming that finance gets to look like me and I don't have to look like finance. Like that is,
because finance doesn't actually look like anything, and sports doesn't actually look like anything, and fitness and nutrition, all of it, mental health, everything. Like the glow up in general doesn't actually have a look. It's just you yourself becoming better in all of those facets. So it is the matching workout set. 100%.
It is. Exactly. So that is it.
Amazing. Well, that was fucking incredible. Speaking of
so much
touching like a sailor, that was absolutely amazing. I feel like I've been looking forward to this episode. When we decided to do this, we've talked about this. Like, I love fitness. I love nutrition. I love, like the mental health conversations we have, but finance specifically is like one area that I truly did not feel equipped until your book, meeting you and honestly having open-ended conversations. I mean, Raegan's not here today. She's sick, but like we have more honest conversations now about money than ever before. I truly believe that. Like we talk about it like we are saying what we had for lunch, and it's opened up so many like honest conversations just about life in general. But then there's this sense of accountability, which I think women in general should have. Just like we should just be talking about all of those things, whether it's, nutrition, fitness, mental health, physical health, finance, any of it. We should just be having open-ended conversations constantly. Men are never afraid to have those conversations and talk. Yeah. Why are we?
I mean, I think one of the most powerful things that women can work on, especially in their 20s, their 30s, is confidence. Because again, confidence starts from the inside. And when you work on those internal things that you gain confidence, what's so cool is like, and one of the things I love so much about like your glow up series is you focus on glowing up in one area, you glow up in another. Because when you're confident,
100%.
when you're listening to your intuition around eating, you're also listening to your intuition around money. When you're listening to and building confidence in your workout, you're also gaining confidence to speak up on about an opinion on a work call. Like everything translates into everything. And so it's so holistic and it's so empowering. And I think one of the last things that I'll just say, and again, I think this is so on brand for Name 3 players, is if you don't have a group of women in your circle who are fostering all of your goals and encouraging you and standing by you and validating you, go and search for that circle if you don't have it. Because one of the biggest things I've learned about, meeting you, meeting Chloe, I mean, Lynn's, Raegan, like the whole crew, is all of you are so deeply rooted in the foundation of cheering for each other so wholeheartedly. And when you have that, even when it feels like you're climbing up a mountain, you're climbing up a mountain in community. And that is something that makes you so unstoppable. And I think that's such an important part of glowing up is it can feel like, oh my God, I have a million things to do. I need to glow up here and do this and do this and do this. And it's like, when you do that in community, you get to enjoy the journey even more. And so that's such a powerful thing that you guys have. And, I feel so lucky to have with the girls in my life, and go and find that, like, because it's so impactful.
That I think we talk about it all the time. The best resource you can have are people that you can have honest conversations with, because none of this is possible when you're isolated alone. Like, none of it. I wouldn't be on any of these journeys if I was doing it alone. And that's also why we wanted to do the Glow Up series, is because like, let's just start fucking talking about it. Like, why is it always in private? We have to just like have an open conversation about, we don't know everything there is to know about fitness and nutrition and finance and mental health. We don't. But we're going to at the end of this month. No,
know everything.
Okay, well, I'm obsessed with you. I love you. Thank you so much for coming on. We're going to link everything. Lindsay wants to say bye.
I love you.
Thank you so much thank you so much for having me. When you texted me, I was like, yes. I was typing yes before you even explained anything. You were like, idea. So on Name 3 players, I'm like, yes. I don't know.
Yes.
I'm like, leave a review on whatever. I will, whatever you need from me. I am a loyal soldier and I am totally here for it. Again, I rave about you guys all the time to friends, everything that you're doing in the sports world. I mean, and I, again, new to NFL, but even just like I've learned more about like NBA and other sports arenas than I ever had. I don't even know, like, I was like, is it like a halftime? Are there 4 quarters? And you know, and everything, you just make it so fun. And again, you just make it feel like you're just sitting at brunch and this is a topic of convo. And so you like letting people into that is such a gift. Number 1 girls sports podcast in the world. We love to see it.
God bless you. All right. Well, we love you. Chloe is for the girls. Deeper Than Money is for the girls. And finance, money is for the girls in 2024.
Always is her.
All right. Well, we have to go talk about sports now. So
We love it. Okay. Thanks for having me.
I love you. Bye.
That was Chloe with Deeper Than Money and our series finale of Glow Up 101. We hope you loved it. Like, we genuinely were obsessed with just like the concept, and we've gotten really good feedback. So probably more stuff like that in the future, I would say. Kind of like diverting from just silly sports news. And
because we're multifaceted.
We are. We're complex girls. So we give you the sports news, and then we'll also give you the real shit. And that was what that was.
Yeah.
The real shit.
I think we left every single interview feeling so hyped.
Oh my God.
Like,
we got off that call and I was like, let me go like look at my high yield savings account.
Let me check my bank account for the first time in a bit and like not be afraid. Let me go buy myself a coffee because it makes me feel good and I don't feel guilty about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Or like, as we talked about, like literally in our conversation, I'm like, yeah, unless it aligns with my spending, like, no, couldn't be me.
Right.
I'm not buying the frivolous thing. I'm going to do whatever makes me feel good because I work hard and I earned it.
Exactly.
Just amazing.
Being intentional and, you know.
So yeah, if any of that spoke to you and you want to know more, definitely look into her book, look up her literacy program. I know that she has like a ton of free trainings as well, tutorials, stuff like that. Like she talked about the high yield savings account. Go fucking do that. High yield savings for the girls.
Yeah. Follow her. She's always posting on her story.
Oh my gosh, the reels.
She's constantly
her reel activity.
She's online like we're online.
Yeah, chronically online girly, and God love her. All right, well, I think that covers it. We're ready to go into our last and final segment, our walk-up songs of the week. Chlo, give us the EDM that we know you're about to give us.
Okay, so like I said last week, I'm a very diverse person when it comes to music.
Yes, that's why I love you.
To the point where I love an entire genre that all of my friends hate. But I still love it regardless of their opinions. So
that's real.
So real. We talked about with Chloe how I bought concert tickets, and I'm so happy that I'll be seeing Odessa for the 3rd time with my friends in Denver. And I figured it was just the move to choose an Odessa song.
Yeah, pay homage.
Yeah, my song of the week is Sun Models by Odessa because it is such a vibe. I saw them in October. We were 100 feet from the stage. And if you've ever seen them live, you know what I'm talking about. Like, it is one of
Is Odessa like 2 people?
So it's 2 guys.
Okay.
But then they also have an entire drum line. And then they have like a horn section. They have singers that come out. Oh my gosh,
cool.
It is... I hate being that girl that's like, it changed my life seeing this, whatever. But it really was like, I go back, I look at my videos from it, and I'm still like, that was one of, if not one of the best nights of my life. It was incredible.
Oh my God.
And so I'm very excited to go see them again with
a spiritual experience, if you will.
It was, which is so lame.
No, it's not. If you like it, it's not lame.
Yeah. So Some Models, I think, was one of the first songs that I liked by them. My friend Libby, who I'll be going with, it was her very first favorite song as well. So I'm just very excited, and it'll be great because...
When is this?
The end of June.
Okay, fun. Love.
And then right after that, going right into Kenny Chesney.
Oh, hell yeah.
So.
And that's on diversity right there.
Hell yeah.
Okay, well, kind of moving right into the diverse lane. Mm-hmm. Maybe an unassuming selection from me, but Yes and by Ariana Grande. It is kind of EDM-y. It's kind of dancey, right?
I feel like you're in that.
I am.
Dare I say era.
I mean, I like 3 songs.
But that's still
house songs.
I love that.
Yeah, I mean, this is like my second kind of dancey song. I've had a Troye Sivan song that was kind of dancey.
Yeah.
Before, but I did do Fred again a couple weeks ago. Anyway,
which was the most pleasant surprise of all time.
Yeah, but that's really the only Fred again song I like love. But it has Baby Keem, which is hip hop. But anyway, Yes and by Ariana Grande. Is she kind of a problematic girly?
Is she dating
right now?
SpongeBob? Yes.
Sure, whatever. I don't care. The song goes hard. The message, the lyrics of that song, incredibly hard. With my you guys can't see it, but I'm twirling around my Summer Fridays. This is the girliest thing I've ever done. I'm pointing.
Yes, and
my Summer Fridays lip balm while talking about Ariana Grande and defending her. And listen here, girls. It's not that serious. It's never that serious. I don't know anything about this woman's romantic life, and I don't care to. At all. I don't care who she's dating. That's literally the point of the song. There's a line that she says, and I'm paraphrasing, "Why do you care so much whose dick I ride?" Like, she's like, why do you care? Like, why are you so obsessed with this? Period, queen. Like, I don't care. The song is fire. Like, I don't care.
That's all that matters. I will say, I've never heard an Ariana Grande song that I hated. Like, God is a woman.
God is a woman. Oh my God, that song is so good. And she is, I feel like every time someone hears that fact about me, that you know that. Like, I'm obsessed with Ariana Grande's discography. Her as a person, don't know anything about her. Don't really care to. Discography, fucking stacked. Fire. She was my most listened to artist one year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
No, like, Sweetener. Holy shit. Which, was it fueled a little bit by Pete Davidson?
Probably more than a little bit.
Maybe.
But that doesn't take away from
I'll
her.
admit that in this safe space. Was I obsessed with Pete Davidson at a point? Was he my biggest celebrity crush?
Yes.
Still is? Yeah. 100%. But that album slapped, and I revisit it often. And this song, right on cue. Ariana, can't wait for the album. So, yes. Is she problematic? Sure. Is she dating a weird Broadway SpongeBob? I don't know. But
Broadway SpongeBob.
But I love this song, and it's so good. So, it's my song of the week.
I'm glad you brought this up, though, because I still have not heard it.
We'll play it right after this.
Okay.
It's so dancey. You're going to love it.
Okay. Honestly, I'd rather you just sing it to me.
I could. Credits to credits. I've listened to it that much.
You just pull up the karaoke version on Spotify.
I listened to it at the gym today, and I was like, there was a guy next to me, and I was like, I wonder if he knows that I'm bopping to Ariana Grande right now.
That's my new favorite thing, as you probably know, is being like, no one here knows this about me. Like, I went braless at the Chiefs game 2 weeks ago, and I texted Victoria because she's on the other side of the table, and she came up later, and I said, no one knows this, but I'm brawn.
But then they did know it because you raised your hands, and then someone saw. And that
was like at least 2 hours later.
And that someone was me.
So you already knew. It's fine.
All right. Well, we appreciate you tuning into this week's episode of Name 3 Players. We release new episodes every Friday and cover the hard-hitting stories. We let the girls know what they need to know. You can listen to our episodes on Spotify, iHeart, Amazon, and YouTube, and stay up to date on all that's happening around the sports world in between episodes. And for more information on NTP events and sponsorships, you can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Name3Players. That's all spelled out. And finally, you can listen to all of our walk-up songs of the week and special curated playlists for the girls by following us on Spotify at Name3Players. Once again, all spelled out.
Wow.
I've gotten pretty good at that.
Yeah, I was going to say, that was crazy.
Yeah, 37 episodes.
Amazing. And don't worry, we will be back to regularly scheduled programming next week. I'll be a little voice in the background, And
Riggs will be back on the mic, and I'll be back on the mic. It's been like 3, that's crazy. It'll be, had been 2 weeks since we, original recipe back at it. Math, girl math. All right, well, we love you. Thank you for sticking with us, and go Chiefs.
Go Chiefs.
You'll hear from
honestly.
us. You'll hear from us again before that, but
not a Chiefs podcast, but yeah, the fuck it is. Like,
we honestly need shirts that say "Not a Chiefs podcast." That'd be freaking funny. All right, we love you as always. Have a weekend for the girls. Bye.